Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be telling you how to get started with tables in Excel. What are tables? To start off, you may want to know what a table exactly is. And you may be thinking, isn't Excel already a table where there are rows and columns? But in reality, they're just a collection of individual cells that look like a table because of the way that they have been arranged. The concept of tables was introduced into Excel in 2007. And an Excel table consists of the following elements. It has a header row, alternate shading or well-banded rows, and a sizing handle. They also can have calculated columns and also total rows. So why should you use tables? So there are many benefits of using Excel tables because Excel recognizes that each column is a separate field. So when a table is created, Excel automatically applies a specific formatting to it. And when you create tables, the data is usually extended. And I'll be showing you more on this in the demo that I'll be doing. And another advantage of using tables is that the data is automatically updated into your spreadsheet if any changes are made. And finally, it's just really a simple way to format your data. So let's get into the demo of how to create tables. So here I have data for Raymond ratings, and over here I have the review number and the brand of Raymond, and then the variety, the style it's presented in, and the country it's from, and how many stars. So this is obviously going to be out of 5. And so I've already cleared this data up a little. So all I need to do now is put this into a table. Now, to do this, I can either go into the insert ribbon, I'm already in here, and click on table, or I can go back into the home ribbon and say format as table, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into insert. And another way you can do it is go back into the insert, and if you hover over this table, it says you can also use the shortcut Control-T. So I'm going to go into insert, I'm already in here, and then I am going to hover over table and click table. As you can see, it already recognizes all my data, like where my data is placed, and right from the top to bottom. And it also has a My Table Has Headers box. And I have headers for my table, but if you don't have headers for your table, then you'll obviously untick that. But I'm going to be ticking this. I'm going to go OK. So as you can see, it has made a table with my data, and it also has a default color scheme. And this color scheme obviously helps the data stand out. And however, you can also format your table however you like with the formatting options up here. You have all these different colors, so I can probably go for green now, or I can go for yellow. I think I'll keep it a yellow. So something else that you can do is name your table. And so you'll find that in the table design tab, and over here in the top left corner, it has table name. So I'm going to be naming my table to Raymond. And this name is going to be helpful when you're wanting to refer this table to something. So for example, in any cell of this sheet, if I click out of it and I go equals Ray, see, the Excel already knows that I'm referring to this table in this range. And so I don't need to select any of this out here. I can just simply type in Raymond in a cell, and it will automatically know that I am referring to this table here. So since Excel 2013, we've been able to use an option called slices. And slices are used to filter our data. And to do this, to add a filter onto here, I will need to go into the Insert tab. And if you scroll over here, it says Slicer. So now I need to I need to select whatever I want a slicer for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a slicer for the brand of Raymond. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to click here. And so when I click here, the whole row is selected. And then I'm going to go into slicer, and then this box will pop up. So when this box pops up, this basically gives you so what you want to filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by, since that is a brand, I'm going to go by country. So I'll select the country and go OK. So once I do that, Excel gives me this nice visual representation of the slicer, and I can position it anywhere that I want. And up here, you can even make it pretty and style it however you like. Maybe I want it to go matching with my table. So I'm going to go for yellow. So what this does is basically if I click on Australia, it will show you Australia's most common Raymond, and it will show you the review, the brand of the Raymond, and the style. So this is just a really easy way to filter your data and to make it look pretty even. And something you might have noticed is that all the columns have filters, so these little drop downs. This is quite useful because it's used to display precise data sets in the table. So as you can see, if I click a filter, go down, then you can untick or tick whatever you want to keep in the table or take out. Now, if I scroll down, notice that the headers get replaced with the table column headings, which is very useful because if you want to edit your data and you don't need to keep scrolling up to check what column you're editing in. So I find that very convenient. And a shortcut that you can use in the table is Control A. Now, if you click inside your table and go Control A, it selects all of your table. So that's just an easier way to select all of your table instead of, doing the long way by dragging it across. Now, if I start adding data at the end of my table, right down, if I start adding data, so yeah, one, as you can see, the table extends. So if you keep entering data, it will keep extending. And how you know that a table is finished is when you see this little L here at the bottom. So over here. So that L indicates that the table is finished, and this is called the sizing handle. If you want to add a new column over here, I can just type new column and go enter, and it adds a new column in for me. And if you want to enter a formula, then you can click in here and go equals, for example, 5. Yeah, and as you can see, it's writing whatever I wrote in here into here. If you go into table design, so if you go into table design, then you need to click inside the table. Go into table design, and it has ticked header rows and banded rows. You can tick and untick however you want. So if I scroll to the top, it's easier to see this. So here, untick and tick whatever you want. Yeah. Now there's something called creating a table the fourth way. And to do this, you need to import data from the data tab. But before I do that, I need to get a fresh spreadsheet. So go file and blank workbook. So now I'm in a new spreadsheet, and what I need to do is go into the data ribbon. And this is the most common way of inserting data into your spreadsheet and then making it into a table. And so what I'm going to do is next to get data, there is this icon called from text CSV. So to do that, to get my data, I'm just going to click on here, and it's the first thing here. So mine's called Raymond Ratings, and here. So this is the data that I'm going to be inserting. But before I do this, I'm just going to go into transform data. So now that this has opened in Power Query Editor, I'm going to scroll here and get rid of this. And then now I'm going to change the data type. So the data types are basically these little icons over here. And if you come here, this shows that it's ABCs, but it is actually decimals. But before we go into decimal number, I'm just going to scroll down, and as you can see, it says there is unrated. So some of them are unrated. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go to this drop down here, which is the filter, and then I'm going to scroll down and then untick unrated. So once I do that, I'm going to go OK. And so now this doesn't have any more ABCs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and go decimal number. Right, so once I've done that, my data is all ready to load, and I'm going to go close and load. Now, notice when you load this data, using the insert CSV way that I just showed you, it puts it directly into a table. And I find this extremely helpful so that you don't have to, insert the data and then and then do extra things to get it into a table. So it just puts it directly into a table, which makes it easier for you. Now I'll be showing you how to work with data validation in a table in Excel. So I have some other data for this. Here. So here I have a stationary color example. So as you can see, I have two tables here. So one table is the contents and the other one is the options to choose from. So basically over here I have, this is a stationary data, by the way. And so this is the ID of the stationary and what the stationary is, the color of it, and what color of the rainbow it is. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these options over here into this table as drop downs or lists. So to do this, I need to go into the data ribbon, and next to where it says text to columns, there is a little button called data validation. But before I click on that, I'm just going to select the places where I want the list / drop down to appear. And then I'm going to click this drop down and go data validation. Now, where it says allow, instead of any value, I'm going to click on list. And where it says source, I'm just going to move this. Where it says source, I'm going to select all of these so that this data can be transferred into here. But obviously I won't select the header. And then go OK. So now that I've done that, it has provided a list for us. So if we click on the list, then it has all of these options in here. Now, I realized that I have forgot about Violet. So I'm going to type in Violet over here. Over here, enter. And as I said before, in our first table example, whenever we write a new piece of data, then the table always extends. So now it's extended. So let's see if it has automatically been put into the list. And yep, it has automatically put into the list. Violet is on the list. So you can change them up and you can play along with that. So that's all I have on tables today.